Well, good afternoon. This has been a very unusual day. It requires cheese and crackers and some wine. Yeah, both kinds. Wine and W-H-I-N-E wine. Y'all like these little club crackers. Jerry buys these cheese sticks all the time. Every time he goes to the store, we probably got 8 bags of them out there. They're falling out the door of the fridge. So I've started eating them for my afternoon snack. Pardon the chewing. I'll cut that part out. Anyway, I had this plan, this big plan for you guys today. We were going to do it this morning. But it didn't work out. And so I don't know if I'll be able to put it back together or not. But maybe. So anyway, since that didn't work out, I decided to show you something else which you may or may not care anything about. You remember my talk with the love sewing notions I had on yesterday, and how the little zipper pull got messed up? I just came from outside where we're building a fire, and we burned all of the Amazon boxes and the Walmart boxes and the Sam's boxes. They come every day here. And so I've got fires. I smell like a fire, and I've got ashes all over me. It's got to be 70 degrees out there. I went out like this, no coat. I started out with a jacket, and I was just hotter than heck. I thought, oh my gosh, it's like spring out here. I even watered my plants. I thought, hey, I'm going to go ahead and water these plants. Maybe they'll come back to life. So anyway, you know, my little zipper pull didn't turn out right. So I figured out how to do it. And I know it's completely unimportant, and you're going, oh my God, I can't believe she did that. I didn't do it because it was important or because it didn't look fine without it. I didn't do it for that reason. I did it to prove to myself that I could do it, okay? That it could be done. So I videoed myself. It was after this morning when the frustrations were at a high level. So I decided this morning, since the other project didn't work out, that I would attempt that. So I did, and it turned out so good that I went back and then I showed you how to do it, okay? But I might not have been in the best mood when I was doing it because some other things hadn't turned out, and I was a bit on the frustration level. But anyway, I showed you what I did, and it all turned out. It'll just be a short little video. I hope it's short. On how I got into Canvas Workspace, and I figured out how to get that little itty bitty teeny weeny thing, looks like a little tiny staple, and I learned how to get it all by itself and send it to my machine and cut it out and put it on my shirt. Okay, I'll put that part right here, and I'll finish with my 1 cracker and my 1 cheese stick and my glass of Riunite Lambrusco. You get into your Canvas Workspace, you log in. Now this is the online Canvas Workspace, don't forget that. I hope you can see it really good. Then I'm going to find my projects. Now you can see my love that has the zipper pull right here. I'm going to click on it. I learned how to do this last night. Okay, it comes up already chosen, but if it doesn't, click on it, and it's slow. The software is slow, this Brother software. It's not my computer. We have really fast internet here. See, so now it's chosen. And so now it's chosen the whole thing as a grouped design. Supposedly, you can go in here and ungroup it, but you really can't. Let me show you what happens when you do that. I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to come up here and get my arrow. Alright, I've got my arrow. See the little plus sign? It may have already been there. Probably was. So you're going to right click for the menu. What I want to do is ungroup all of these little pieces. But do you see here where the group and the ungroup are light gray? They're not lit up. That means you can't choose them. So I cannot group it or ungroup it. So I went through that for 30-45 minutes last night. And then I finally noticed this word right here that says divide. See, it says weld, divide, remove overlap, subtract. Well, I don't know what all those things do yet, but I thought, well, I wonder what divide does. So I clicked on divide. Now, you can see nothing's chosen now, and it doesn't look like anything happened. But when you take your arrow and you come in here and you click on something now, look. There's just the scissors. There's just part of the tape. And look there. There's that little bitty zipper. So what I did was I grabbed it and I pulled it out. And look what was left behind. This right here is what I actually want. That little itty-bitty, teeny-weeny staple-looking thing right there, that's what I want. So I just deleted this. I don't really want that. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to click on this. See if it'll work. Sometimes you have to click on it more than once. And I think because it's so little, it's hard for the cross to land on it. Alright, that didn't get it. That got the dot. Oh, make it bigger. You can make it bigger right there. Now it's 50%. So now can you see the dot, the staple and the dot? Remember, I sewed this out on my shirt and that little piece right there didn't come out. And so I want to cut it out all by itself. So I'm going to choose it now, and it chose. It looks like it's with a bunch of other stuff. That's kind of weird. Let's try a different choose. I want it on 100%. Okay, let's choose the staple now at 100%. Look. Did you see that? It finally got it. It wouldn't choose it until I made it bigger because there wasn't enough black for the spot to touch. So now I'm going to put it back down and I'm going to drag it, hopefully. You're going to have to blow it back up a little bit. Alright, I'm going to choose it. Then I'm going to move it so I can take that staple and put it out here. You have to have it big enough that you can see the plus sign. Now we're going to bring it out. Okay? So look there. That's the only piece I want. That's the only piece, and I want to cut it out all by itself. I can just use an itty-bitty piece of vinyl and cut that out. Everybody said, oh, don't worry about it, don't worry about it. I'm worried about it. I want to fix it. Not because it matters to the design so much, but I just want to see if I can do it. I wish they had a Control-A that would work on this software, because then you can choose everything at once. Okay, so we're going to choose what's left here. Everything that's left. See, there's all your little individual boxes. It's showing that it's not grouped anymore. So I'm going to delete all of that. Then I'm going to come out here and get my staple again. And I'm going to blow it up again so I can see the thing. And then I'm going to choose it and I'm going to bring it back in. Okay? So actually what I did was I chose part of the scissors because actually a little piece of the scissors is missing too. And so I just saved it. I put this little button here that says overwrite. That's your save button. So let's close that. I don't know how to close things in here yet, believe it or not. I don't know how you make that go away. But I discovered that if you click on new, it'll say, do you want to leave? And you can say, yes, I want to leave. So I want to show you here in my projects what I actually got from last night. So when I clicked on this, that's how I saved it. Here you can see what I've got. I didn't show you all the scissors, but the scissors, the little corner of the scissors was cut off accidentally because I couldn't see what I was doing and I trimmed it off by accident. So I'm going to print out just that little tiny staple you can see there. That little tiny staple and the handle of the scissors. I know. And it's not so much that it matters, it's just I want to know that it's possible in case it was something important, okay? All right, so all I did then was download. Let's click download. Then I finally figured out that this little thing up here is a cloud. I just figured it out right this second. The cloud. And the cloud is where you send what you want to go to your Scan and Cut. So I'm going to choose that. Now it has gone over to the Scan and Cut. Actually, it was already there. Okay, did that make sense? I hope that made sense to everybody. All right, let's go back to the Scan and Cut. Now, several of you have asked me what the difference is between the Scan and Cut and the Cricut. I don't know about the Silhouette, other than it too has this same issue. They cannot scan. And the beauty of the scan isn't that I would want to scan a black and white drawing. It's that you can scan your vinyl or your cloth. Say that I was cutting out hearts and I wanted a blue heart and a green heart and a red heart and an orange heart out of fabric. I could put 4 pieces of fabric on this board, this mat. I could scan it, and the Scan and Cut will show me exactly where those 4 pieces are, and then I can move my designs around. And I can put 1 heart on the red and 1 heart on the blue and 1 heart on the green and 1 heart on the orange. Does that make sense? So that's the awesome part of the scan. So let's get that staple cut out. All right, we're going to put this in here, and you know you have to do loading. Oh, my computer just turned off. This has some kind of a timer, and it goes off after a certain amount of time. And I think you can change it, but I haven't figured that out yet. That's a new lesson. So we're going to load the mat. We're not scanning the mat, we're loading the mat. Remember that this middle button right here is load and unload. It will not scan until it is loaded. All right? Okay. It's loaded. My vinyl is on it, upside down. We're going to go find that little staple in the handle of the scissors. So we're going to retrieve data. This up here equals the cloud. I don't know why they didn't make a cloud there, but they put a wireless signal. So this is, if you send something to the cloud, you're going to find it here. Okay, and there it is, right there. There it is. That is the handle of the scissors and the little bitty staple. Isn't that awesome? Now, the only funky thing is I changed the size of the design, and I don't know how much different the handle's going to be and the little staple are going to be, but I know I reduced it a little bit, so I am just going to edit it and make it a tiny bit smaller. I'm sure there's a better way that I should have done that. I did measure the whole design, but I don't know how this compares to the whole design. See what I mean? Since the whole design isn't here, there's just a tiny little part of it. So let me see, how do you go to the, now I've got to stop and figure out what I'm doing here. I want to make that smaller. Object Edit, and there's something here that you saw, I think it's that button. Yes, and so now I can make it a tiny bit smaller. I didn't make it much smaller. And since it's cutting out such a little tiny piece, I don't think it matters if it's a little bit off. Okay, and besides that, the staple probably needs to be a tiny bit bigger. Okie doke. So you click OK. OK. And now, when you're in here, not over here, those buttons don't work anymore. We're going to click this little thing that looks like an oven, and that's going to scan and show me where my vinyl is. Scan the mat and show as background. This is what the other machines cannot do. This right here. In my understanding, my limited understanding. I've got way more vinyl than I need, but that's what I'm going to use. Okay, so I can't see the vinyl very good. I don't think that's it. Okay, now there's a little button in here. Go back. There is a button in here that allows you to make it so you can see through the vinyl. I usually can't figure out what one that is, but here it is right here. So there's one way. Let's see if it shows up any better there. Yes, it shows up better there. So now I can see my vinyl. See, it's white on white. But I can see, right here is where it ends, and I can see up here that that's where it ends. And there's more than enough room. I'm going to move it up here to the corner a little more so I don't waste very much vinyl. I already know I've got the right blade. I already know I've got the number 1. That's what it's supposed to have. So I'm going to say okay. Then I'm going to say okay. That means you're done editing. Now I'm going to please select. It wants to know, okay, this is ready. What do you want to do with it? I want to cut it. You could draw it. You could emboss it. You could make rhinestones out of it. Okay, I'm not going to test it because I already know it's going to work. So I'm just going to tell it to cut. Start. I've noticed I have to push a lot of buttons twice today. This is such fun. I am going to go downstairs and I am going to get my shirt and I am going to put that staple on there. If it fits. If it doesn't fit, I'll make this a little bit smaller and do it again. Somebody told me yesterday, because this is really, really, really hard to see. Okay, it's finished cutting. Let's send the mat back out. It's done. And it's cut. But you can't see it. And so what happens is I end up cutting part of the design sometimes, and you don't want to do that. So somebody told me that I could use a light box and I would be able to see it really good. So what I'm going to do, instead of leaving everything off of here, where's my little staple? Oh, it's there. It's there. That little staple is there. So that's what I did. That's all I wanted to show you, is that if you accidentally, like I saw a lady's design, some lady put a picture of her shirt. She put a picture of it underneath somebody's design. She bought their design, she used their design, and then she left a comment and showed a picture of her shirt. Well, she had left one of the letters off. The word, it was a saying, and one of the words was B, B-E, and she put the capital B, but she left the E off of it. And I guess she didn't notice it, because if I had noticed it, I would have fixed it. But in case that happens, see if she notices it later, she can go back and just do the E, and then put the E on there by itself. Does that make sense? I hope it does. I'll be back when I get it on my shirt and show it to you. So I came back to show you my fixed shirt. It's really hot. When knit gets hot, it looks wet. The very first time I ironed on one of these vinyls, it looked like it was wet and dark all around the design. I thought, oh no, and it looked that way for, goodness, 15 minutes. And so I guess I'll show it to you while it's that way. You can see what I'm talking about. Can you see? The light might be disguising it, but it's all a different darker color down here because of where I had that hot iron. But look at the top of the zipper now. The staple is there, and I fixed the bottom of the scissors where I had cut it straight and it's supposed to be rounded. So to me, it looks way, way, way better. And of course, nobody is ever going to look at it like I look at it. Of course, I mean, who's going to walk up to your chest with a magnifying glass go, something looks wrong here, Sherlock? You know, nobody. But I am a perfectionist, you know. It's a really bad habit. It's one reason some family members don't like me very much. People that do things and they do it real sloppy, or they don't do it right, or, I mean, like really don't do it right. I have the hardest time keeping my mouth shut. Well, especially if it's a child or a grandchild. I'm just like, that's not how you do that. That's not how you're supposed to do it. So I really have to watch myself. I really do. So, it is possible. I showed you, me and a super beginner with the Scan N Cut, that if you mess it up somehow and a piece that was supposed to be there doesn't get there, you can go back, cut out just that little bit, and fix your shirt, or your quilt, or your whatever. Bye for now.